Officially on Friday. It's a prestigious tournament to be invited to, so we're excited to be one of the 16 teams invited and participating in the preseason WNIT. Obviously, I'm excited about it being a home game. It's a credit to our crowd and our support throughout the years that we were granted a home game, but Chicago State is a very, very underrated team, a team that returns most of their players from one of their best seasons in school history. So we certainly have our work cut out for us. And they opened their year last year beating Northwestern in the Big Ten. So historically a really good team out of the gate.
How does a team get selected for this? And how did you get the home game?
They picked 16 schools from 16 different conferences, or like Chicago State, a potential independent this year for that tournament. And we get the call about a year ahead of time and asking if you would be interested, and then they extended an invitation, and so we received that invitation approximately about a year ago and thought it would be a great opportunity for what we looked at as a team that had a chance to be considered a veteran team.
They being the NCAA.
I'm sorry, it's the WNIT in women's basketball is run by a company called Triple Crown Sports. So you're contacted by the committee for the WNIT that run the preseason and the postseason tournament, and they're run overall by a company called Triple Crown Sports out of Colorado.
And last season, the team didn't really get off to a fast start. What has changed from this season? Are you expecting to be able to come out quick and get a couple wins?
Yeah, to be honest, we put a lot in, and we're a team that keeps March in mind and wants to be playing our best basketball later in the year. We're trying like crazy to be ready, but we certainly aren't crisp. We got absolutely destroyed yesterday at Michigan, and so we have a lot to work on still. But we're working hard to try to figure out how to win this Chicago State game.
How was Lauren Baraska?
Getting back, she's certainly not 100%. Obviously, the flu bug and the mono diagnosis that she had really took a toll on her, and so her conditioning is not back at 100%. She has not had a lot of practices under her belt, so a little bit rusty. She's a little bit behind everybody else, but we're still counting on her to be our leader and go-to player offensively, certainly. And she becomes, obviously, which some of the time last year she could be considered the defensive stopper, but you always have Lindsey Goldsberry. She has to become your defensive stopper now. So we're looking forward to getting her back close to 100%, and every day helps her every day in practice.
Was that a closed-door scrimmage at Michigan yesterday?
Closed-door scrimmage.
You mentioned that you were counting on Tamika to be a defensive stopper, and obviously everybody has to play defense. Is this, you're going to have two? I mean,
well,
that we'll really notice?
And I think last year the two were Lindsay and Lauren, and now Tamika and Lauren have to be that. Tamika more on the ball handlers, Lauren more on the shooters and the wing players that potentially could go try to post us up. Tara Bresky's a fantastic defender. So if those three come through, that we have three really good defenders on the floor, and working with Maggie for the first time and seeing where she fits in defensively, and we know the strengths and weaknesses of Tracy on the floor at the defensive end, and we will keep putting her in positions to be successful.
What part of your team is going to be the toughest for the other teams to deal with? What's going to be something you guys are going to hang your hat on, you think, this year?
Well, I think obviously we're still defined by the pick and roll game offensively, that teams have to prepare on how to guard pick and rolls in order to compete with us. I think that we have three guard scorers on the floor at all times now. We haven't had that since our Sweet 16 team in 2007, that you had three legitimate guards that could score at all times. Defensively, I think we have a little bit better foot speed than we've had in recent years, and I think we can be a little disruptive that way. We're going to try to change defenses more than last year. Our zone really let us down last year, so we were almost exclusively a man-to-man team. This year we'd like to switch up our defenses and be, try to keep people off balance more.
Rebounding concern last year, so far this year?
It's an Achilles heel of our program. One reason is because of the way we play offense. We're spread out. We have 4 around the perimeter a great deal, so it's not a high percentage offensive rebounding system, but we've got to get to the boards. The concern rebounding always happens at the other end. We have to try to one and done teams and really keep people off the offensive boards and do a nice job defensive rebounding. Maggie's a better power forward rebounder than we've had in recent years, and Lauren's a really good rebounding guard. So it's still a little bit rebound by committee, but that's always going to be an Achilles heel until we land that monster post player, is that we've got a team rebound.
How about Chicago State in terms of what concerns you about what they do?
They can really score the basketball. They have different weapons. They have a power forward that made 77 threes last year. To put that in perspective, that's how many Tracy made and led our team, and Lauren were in the 70s. And a power forward for them made 77. Her sister was also a tremendous shooter, but missed half the year with an injury. Between the two of them, is that me? Sorry. Between the two of them, the two sisters, they were averaging taking over 12 threes a game. So they have shooters, but they have athletes that can get to the hole, and then they still have a really talented 6'4" kid in the middle. They're a very, very underrated program that not a lot of people have heard of, but they can beat a lot of good teams, and will come in here and be ready. I mean, again, they won against Northwestern out of the blocks last year, so we have to be ready.
Will they kick it up and go with it, or often just play the half-court game?
No, they're very up-tempo and can really push and get up and down the floor. The defensive end, the scary part of Chicago State is they throw a lot of things at you. They'll be in man, then they'll be in a zone, then they'll be in a press, and then they'll be in a trapping half-court zone. They bring a lot at you defensively, and you have to make adjustments on the fly and not get disrupted by their multiple defenses, and at times a little bit of helter-skelter make you play ugly. And so we're going to have to control our turnovers and make good decisions against a variety of defenses.